Hi, I'm David with EV World News. We talk about electric vehicles, green energy, and the stock markets. And I'm back today on a Friday with our resident engineer, Mike Herzog. How's it going today, Mike?
I'm doing great, David. I need some good EV news articles to pick me up for the afternoon.
There you go. There you
Kind of
go.
dreary
Wow.
here, and like I had a third cup of coffee this morning, and I am still not waking up. So
Yeah,
let's
it
get
is.
some exciting EV developments out there.
Yeah, we don't really have a monsoon season in Nebraska, but this has been pretty wet for a summer.
Yeah,
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 go figure.
especially after the past couple of years. My goodness.
Yeah, we've had a couple of years where we're like, oh, how are the farmers going to grow food? There's not enough rain. This
Mhm.
year, it's like nothing will stop growing.
Yeah.
It's too wet to go outside and do stuff. Yeah. All right, we'll start. So year to date, Tesla stock is down 26%, trailing all of the Magnificent Seven stocks. Tesla shares have dropped 26% as vehicle deliveries stagnate at 1.8 million units, unchanged since 2023. That's hard to fathom. They've had about the same sales for about 4 years in a row.
Wow. That
Yeah.
I'm shocked by that.
Yeah. Operating margins.
Domestically or internationally even.
I think it sounds more domestic to me. Um, This is kind of interesting. Operating margins dropped to 4.6% versus historical 15% plus. They used to
Wow.
have great operating
Yeah.
margins. And this is mainly on the vehicle side. Musk is pivoting the company towards AI products, cybercab robotaxis, full self-driving. Full self-driving has almost 1.5 million subscriptions, up 56% year over year. Optimus humanoid robots, let's see. While announcing a record 25 billion in capital expenditures for 26, double last year's investment. It's interesting that 1.5 million subscriptions for full self-driving. I mean, that's $100 a month. That's what 150 million a
Yep.
month in revenue.
A month. Yeah.
That's $1.8 billion a year in revenue
Just a
just
little
from
little
full
chunk of change
self-driving.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, just
Dang.
in software sales.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something other car companies don't have, right? It's really
No, the ancillary services and things like that. I mean, they've got it locked down pretty good.
yeah. The other companies are dependent on oil changes,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
I mean, they get you for the long-term service package and your
yeah,
air filter and oil and your tires, and that's what they want for all of those things. But
that's kind of
dang,
wild.
I
Um,
can't believe the car sales though. I mean, just with how everything else is taken off, and I wonder if that tells the whole story. Where if it was a little roller coaster, and if we would have looked at that number 6 months ago, if we would have been a little bit different. But I don't know.
you never know. Motley Fool says that during a recent earnings call, Wells Fargo analyst questioned Musk about a possible Tesla SpaceX merger. Musk couldn't comment directly, but acknowledged growing overlap between the two businesses could be a lifeline for struggling Tesla valuation. I mean, SpaceX bought a whole bunch of Cybertrucks. They bought all kinds of battery storage from Tesla. There's all kinds of things that
Oh yeah.
SpaceX has bought from Tesla. And obviously, one of my other articles we'll get to is about Grok. And we'll get to that in a little bit. Um, General Motors and Ford are dramatically scaling back EV talk. Data analysis reveals strategic retreat. A company called Hudson Labs analysis of 7 years of earnings calls shows both automakers now spend less time discussing EVs than pre-pandemic levels. GM dropped from 82 EV mentions to just in 25 to just 21 this year. So only one fourth, only talking about it one fourth as much about EVs.
I was gonna say some good analysis right there of
Yeah,
getting all the transcripts from earnings calls,
yeah, from earnings calls.
running them
You
through an
mentioned
AI
80.
engine. Like how many times did this come up, and how many times did that come up?
Well, they probably ran everything. It's like, what are some things that have changed? And in an
Yeah.
AI, it's like, oh, they only talk about EVs one fourth as much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Both companies have altered, delayed, or outright abandoned plans for new EV models, prompting layoffs and scaled back factory plans. That'd be rough if you're in the car business because you're constantly getting laid off and then rehired.
Then rehired. Yeah.
Yeah. GM took a $6 billion charge while Ford absorbed $19.5 billion in EV program write-downs. Ford's CEO Jim Farley is betting on the new universal electric truck platform launching next year with a mid-sized pickup truck to hit the sweet spot of the EV market for cost, price, and technology. There really hasn't been a mass adopted EV truck yet in North America, right? I mean, we have the Cybertruck. I mean, Chevy and Ford have put out some $80,000 to $120,000 trucks and large stuff like that. And you see them, but you don't see many of them, right?
No, I when the not the Cybertruck, when the Lightning first came out, I thought it was going to do well because it had good momentum. People I knew personally who I never thought would have an EV, like, I'm thinking I'm going to get a Lightning. I'm looking at that kind of things. Wow, this is going to happen, and then it just kind of.
Well, think about this. You live 60 miles out of town on a farm. You buy you have your choice of a gas F-150 or an electric F-150. You probably don't have a gas station near where you live, right? So maybe you have to go 20 miles to fill up with gas. Does that make a lot of sense to go spend, 3 gallons of gas
just to go fill it up?
Just to fill up, and whereas you could charge the EV at home, and then you could charge it, at a destination, so there's different ways to look at that, right? I mean, the farm could have solar too and charge it.
Those are the things I look, not to get off too big of a tangent, but from agriculture operations, that idea of, little energy independent farms. I mean, that's got to be appealing, right? Whereas, you have electric equipment, you have little wind turbines, you have a little bit of solar, you've got some diesel backup, and you've basically disconnected yourself from the grid and have renewable energy.
So I've been looking at
so much sense.
The possibility of opening a granite aggregate business, basically offloading trains and loading it on trucks that are then used in highway construction. And I looked at doing everything. I set up a whole business plan, everything electric. I'd buy electric front end loaders. Okay. So they typically have about a 9-hour life cycle, although it'll be a little less with hauling aggregate because it's so heavy. But I looked at what it would take to put chargers on site and then solar and enough battery storage to take all the solar, have probably a megawatt of solar, and then I'd have a, as big of a charger as I could get currently now for a reasonable price, not a megawatt charger, but like something that's pretty significant, and be able to keep that running all the time. Never would need to have any gas-powered vehicles operating the facility. The trucks coming in would all be diesel. But that could eventually be changed out too. I mean, it'd be a real good use case for Tesla trucks, example, because they're only driving maybe 100 miles.
Yeah, it's fixed route.
Coming back and picking up another load of aggregate. So it's kind of an interesting.
Well, and especially if you have the charging infrastructure on site, those trucks are being loaded. Top off the tank a little bit.
Yeah, well, we have an old steel mill, and so we have the electrical infrastructure, but we just cover we could probably get almost a megawatt just on the roof.
Just on the rooftop of the thing. Yeah. I believe it.
And anyways, it's an interesting concept. We have a rail spur runs right along the side of the steel mill. And but one of these aggregate trains is a mile long. Yeah. It's like a train every 4 days. A train every 4 days would be enough to service the local market and operate like 10 hours a day.
Yeah, just unloading the thing.
Just loading you'd unload the train, but then you'd have another vehicle out loading trucks.
Loading the trucks.
Yeah, you'd be loading a truck every 5 minutes and weighing it in, weighing it out, and it's kind of interesting little business. It's like I never really thought, that would be something I'd ever have an interest in. But it's just interesting to see the process and trying to analyze that on how ridiculously cheap you can make operations by going electric. You cut down on the need for spare parts. You cut down on the need for a regular, a lot of the regular maintenance on, the electrical.
Well, and I think those are the things that were so easy to forget going into it. If you really go all in and say we want to make this a completely electric operation, we're at the point where it's feasible. Like the technology is there. You could go out and buy those things today and do it. And then once you do that whole waterfall chart of operational costs and maintenance and avoiding escalating energy costs, you're insulated from that, from market pressures and things. Like it just makes so much sense. If it pencils out,
right.
But like if your operations, like I would need 4 trucks, based on that level of charging, it's twice as much as what I would have needed before. Maybe it doesn't work out. But if it's equivalent like that, it's really cool concept.
Yeah, in that space, the electric vehicles aren't a whole lot different pricing than
the
diesel.
big old traditional fuel.
Yeah, so they're fairly similarly priced. So, but they still have 300 kilowatt hour batteries.
Still gigantic.
Yeah, still gigantic batteries. Yeah, so still it takes some juice, and as I'm working on, it's like, well, you're going to pull all this power from the grid. It's like, no, I'm not. I'm going to have it in a battery. I'm going to pull all the juice from a battery and just stick it over there. And we're going to charge the battery from solar. And then we probably have to sell a little bit of excess power back to the local utility, but I don't think they'd have a real problem with that. We certainly have the infrastructure for it already.
Yeah. No, and everybody has those mechanisms and tariff structures in place for purchase and resale.
Yeah. But all right. Let's see. This was something that I was talking to you about before the show. So back on June 30th, so that was about 6 weeks ago, the Department of Energy issued unprecedented emergency orders allowing PJM, the largest U.S. grid operator covering 13 states, to forcibly curtail data centers with 50 plus megawatt peak load and waive power plant pollution limits through July 3rd. That's kind of wild. So they hit, what was it, 166,000 megawatts. Or 166 gigawatts, I guess, on July 2nd, exceeding the 20-year all-time record by about a gigawatt.
Wow.
That had been set in 2006.
2006?
Yeah, so it was a 20-year-old record.
That's crazy.
The emergency orders authorized forcing data centers to switch to backup generators within 15 minutes to free capacity for residential customers.
Yeah. So they, our region had one of those close calls around the same time too, during that heat, where it was some emergency alert level 3, where that opens it up to rolling blackouts and curtailments and options. And it sounds like they were in the same boat.
Yeah. So there's been 6 emergency orders issued to PJM in 26, including one from a winter storm in January, revealing structural grid stress from surging AI data center demand colliding with aging infrastructure. Now, one of those 13 states is Virginia. And Virginia is 15% of the world's data centers.
Yep. It's nuts. And I've actually supported clients locating data centers in that region, and they're all over the place. Anywhere they can find space, people are trying to plug those things in. It's a lot of pressure on that grid.
Why Virginia?
Let's get good data pipeline, maybe. I don't know. Good senators got them good incentives to locate there.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, what's special. I mean, I realize it's closer to the government, but I mean, fiber optic cables, you're not dealing a whole lot of ping rate if you're coming from West Virginia or you're coming from Tennessee or something like that. It's like, well, where, or maybe they just have the grid. I mean, here's the thing, though. We're talking about the lack of updated grid infrastructure. So that can't be the selling point, right?
Yeah. I must have early on great incentives. I don't know. Good kickbacks and all of that. I don't know.
You don't know what would be better there. I mean, it just kind of,
because I mean, their rates aren't special. If that it's not like the Pacific Northwest where because of all the hydro, it's dirt cheap. I mean, that's not the case.
Yeah, I mean, and that's why a lot of them are here too,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. Yeah,
Because
very,
we have
very
cheap
favorable
electricity,
rates.
cheap
Yep.
water. Yeah. No. Yeah, just curious. All right. SpaceX AI revenue will exceed all other products probably by next month, according to Elon Musk. In an all hands meeting posted to X on Tuesday, Musk declared definitely our AI revenue will exceed all other SpaceX revenue starting in September and will significantly exceed all other SpaceX revenue in the fourth quarter.
So
Um,
is Grok's under SpaceX then?
it is.
Okay.
Grok is a
Okay.
SpaceX company. Yeah. AI generated 2.5 billion of 7.8 billion, so about a third, versus connectivity products were 4 billion, and space products, this is quarter two, and space products were only 962 million, so just under a billion.
Mhm.
Now, when it says connectivity products, I assume that means Starlink.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Okay. Is
Um,
Twitter its own thing, or is that under somebody else too?
Twitter is part of SpaceX.
It's part of SpaceX as well?
Yes. Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Um, let's see. So, oh, they're now calling the AI SpaceX AI after acquiring XAI, SpaceX AI. Well, whatever. Um,
If it's got an X in it, we know it's
yeah.
his. Like, right? I mean, that's all I go by.
Yeah. So Musk is planning to train Grok LLMs on the sum total of all SpaceX information, including employee thoughts and ideas, plus launching data centers into space using exclusively NVIDIA Vera Rubin architecture. Also acquired Cursor AI coding startup for 60 billion in June. That was a pretty big deal in the
Okay.
AI space when they acquired Cursor. Cursor is a less expensive alternative to Claude code.
Okay. So kind of that same niche of what Claude fills in the space, just
Yeah.
a little
Um,
less oomph.
yeah, but for far less cost. This has been one of the big things in the AI space is that Claude is really on the bleeding edge of technology generally. Um, there are some Chinese LLMs and some other companies'
Mhm.
products that are on certain benchmarks. They're really close. I mean, they're not. It's
Yeah.
statistically insignificant differences. Okay,
Mhm.
but a lot of it is how the Claude products are internally. You type in a prompt, it assumes certain things. Like when you use Fable, it automatically like double checks.
Okay.
Re-verifies that everything it came up with was reasonably true. Okay, instead of you having to prompt all of that. On the flip side, that means it burns more tokens and costs more money.
Yeah.
Okay,
Gotcha. Yeah.
so that's one of the challenges with a lot of this is how like a lot of the Chinese models are more stripped out. So you have to prompt it better.
Mhm.
That
Mhm.
makes sense.
Yeah, I follow you. It's you gotta. They can do the same thing. You just have to be much more explicit about it. What you
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
do.
Whereas Fable really kind of tries to figure out your
This
context.
is what you. We pretty sure this is what you meant. We're gonna
Yeah,
go do this from step one.
right, right. Whereas with and
Mhm.
it it assumes you want it to double check,
Yeah.
what you're doing, whereas the other one didn't. And anyways, it's there. Oh yeah, there's no question that energy is where it's all at. I was even looking at as far as us doing the show. I mean, originally we mostly talked about things going on, new cars coming to market and all that. There's literally I've been doing the show for 3 years. There's literally hundreds of models. Now,
Mhm.
not necessarily in the U.S., but around the world, there's literally hundreds of models of EVs now. The number is probably 5x than the number of models out there. And we spend an increasingly bigger portion of time talking about other energy and things like
It
that.
has. It has been an interesting conversation over these years because the EVs have become so established and almost there's not a lot of updates or new. I mean, it's fun. Okay, there's new company, new model, maybe some new battery technology, things like that. But it's just
Yeah.
it's there. It's not cutting edge anymore.
3 years ago, AI wasn't the big drag on the grid that it is today.
Yeah.
And Musk warned, he said, we're in danger of having all these problems because AI is going to be using so much energy. And he said it by 2026, and it's already, we're seeing where they're having emergencies.
PJM six in the first half of the year is not good. So like for reference, depending on the level of those emergencies, if they're calling in forced curtailment. I worked in the power industry for 15 years for a utility and 5 years as a consultant. At a utility, I saw that happen once in 15 years. And now it's happened in our region every couple of years now. It's popping up. So 6 in half a year there's a problem over there.
Yeah. Oh, that's really a good way to put it in perspective too. I mean, it's like I'm sitting there thinking, oh, maybe this is a normal thing. And it's like, oh, no, this isn't.
That is not normal. Forced curtailment's not normal.
Yeah. It's another good reason for living in Nebraska. It's like we don't have to deal with all the problems.
Don't have to worry about that. Wide open spaces.
We are still about what 600 megawatts short of fulfilling our energy needs for the data centers locally.
Yeah. There's still a line. They're shaking the couch cushions looking for a couple spare megawatts wherever people can find them.
They won't let us shut down our old coal-fired plants.
Yeah,
they need it. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, I wanted to talk about something else here today. Porsche exits Volkswagen emissions pool to partner with China's Xpeng compliance desperation. I'm not sure exactly what this means. Oh, Porsche faces heavy European Union fleet fines.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Of 95 euros per excess gram per vehicle, while struggling with declining Taycan and Macan EV sales alongside pivot back to combustion models. By pooling with Xpeng's zero-emission fleet, Porsche offsets its high-emitting combustion vehicles while removing compliance burden.
It's
Volkswagen
100% on paper. We're gonna go acquire that and throw it into the pool to dilute it a little bit.
Yeah. So Porsche offsets its high-emitting combustion vehicles while removing compliance burden from Volkswagen Group's main balance sheet. Shows how traditional OEMs increasingly depend on Chinese EV makers for regulatory survival. I mean, this is what Tesla was making so much money on here in the U.S.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We will include us in your calculations, and your average emission per vehicle is gonna tank in a very positive way.
Yeah. That one I thought it was kind of funny. All right. Data center electricity demand projected to hit 9 to 17% of U.S. total by 2030, which would be an increase from 4 to 5% today. So, wow, we're already up. I know only a few years ago, it was like 1% of the U.S. grid was data centers. Yeah. Now it's 4 to 5%. And they're expecting between 9 and 17% by 2030. There'll only be 17% of people get enough energy going, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. If they can.
Yeah, it's not going to
what they need to.
Peaking your energy. It's got to get in there.
Yeah, it used to. I hope they do start including data centers in officially reported statistics for the power grid, because it used to be commercial, residential, and industrial. And then a few years ago, they added transportation in there because they thought EV boom was going to happen. Now I think they need to add a computing power or data center one in there. I mean,
it's so funny how 2 to 3 years ago, we were still listening to all the talk in Congress about how the grid wasn't going to be able to handle EVs. Yeah. It's like, guys do know about AI, right?
Mm-hmm. It's not so like locally where we're at. for typical Midwest, utility space, it was about one third, one third, one third. About a third of the energy was residential, a third of it was commercial, and a third of it was industrial. It shifted locally to about 25% residential, 25% commercial, and now 50% industrial, with data centers being lumped into industrial. So we're definitely seeing it locally too.
Yeah. Let's see. Goldman Sachs forecasts U.S. data center power demand will climb from 31 gigawatts last year in 25 to 41 gigawatts this year. So from 31 to 41 in 1 year to 66 next year. Essentially doubling in 2 years.
In 2 years, it's going to double. Holy cats.
Well, Mike, that's good for you, man.
It's
grid engineers.
I don't know. I think you hit the nail on the head with, like, if we could build up to that, because we just throw those numbers around, but like the reality of how much power that is and energy that is, unbelievable.
Well, look at you and I've had discussions with some town that wants manufacturing, and there's nobody in that state to give them power for that manufacturing. Yeah, and it's like, well, what are they supposed to do?
What are they supposed to do? Yeah, and I tell people, like, even locally, there are the largest companies in the world waiting for every spare megawatt we have. Like, good luck. Like, get in line behind them. Maybe there'll be some scraps left over when it's done.
Yeah, it's just hard to fathom. The International Energy Agency estimates global data center electrical consumption will hit 945 terawatt hours by 2030. Now, that I'm assuming that's not like on an annual basis.
Got to be right.
When you start talking about that. With AI, machine language training, and inference driving the surge, this demand spike is directly causing the grid emergencies from PJM and pushing utilities toward nuclear SMRs and grid-scale battery storage.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just.
I think that's the answer, but it's going to take a minute.
Yeah, it sure is. I mean, it's just nuts. I've been having calls from people now asking about getting turbines, getting gas turbines, and those are interesting because I've been working on a data center project somewhere in the South, and the guys doing it are like, "Hey, how quick could you get us some turbines?" And we're talking to them, trying to see what we can get them. Guys on our team found them two, a 30 and an 80. I didn't even realize an 80 megawatt gas turbine existed. That is massive to think that a single gas turbine could produce that much energy.
It's a lot. They're scraping the barrels everywhere for this stuff. It's great.
I think that Grok XAI location in Memphis has like 14 30 megawatt turbines or 25 megawatt turbines, something like that, because it was like 350 megawatts for the whole facility, which is still pretty big. I mean, it's not big in terms of power plants, but it's, a lot considering it's at the data center. It's
right there on site. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just different to see that. I don't know. Some of these numbers are just we keep talking about. The numbers are just ridiculous. The numbers people talk about that they consider to be an ordinary discussion are so out of bounds that it's just hard to fathom.
Well, and what's in the back of my mind is, with all of it, like the usage is there today. Like what people are building these things for, the usage is there for just normal growth. I think about in my life the people who don't use AI, who I don't know what it is, I don't know what it's for. Like, just try it a couple of times. Like, I'm not swinging the AI banner, but gosh, does it have its uses? For things here and there, it really is useful. And as more and more people get exposed to it, that usage is only going to increase.
Did I tell you I got selected as a beta tester for one of the AI companies? And so they are hitting me with credits, and they're asking me if I can try some of my work and do it in a specialized sandbox. it's been interesting to see, but I've like, it's not been massive. I think I've spent an extra like $60 worth of credits in a couple of
Yeah.
weeks that I wouldn't normally have, or I would have done it on a instead of doing stuff on like ultra mode, I would have done it on standard mode or
Yeah. Just
different things. And I've
taking
been
it up. Yeah.
trying, stuff that I normally wouldn't. But it's interesting even to see the difference between doing stuff on standard mode versus, ultra on different platforms and how different that is. I mean, if you're doing coding, you're probably doing everything on ultra, and it's just
It just
different to see.
burn that out real fast.
Yeah. All right. New research shows switching early from ICE to EV cuts emissions in 92% of scenarios. Even replacing a nearly new petrol car makes climate sense. That's always been one of the arguments that you should hold off.
Yeah.
EVs offset their higher production footprint in about 3 years, then deliver up to 44% lower life cycle CO2 compared to ICE vehicles, but only if the old ICE is scrapped, not resold. Resell just shifts the emissions to another driver.
Yes, I get
Yeah.
that.
So, I mean, after 3 years of driving an ICE vehicle, somebody is not going to just scrap it.
No, it's not going to be scrapped. It's not going to.
Yeah. But that was, 44% less in those first 3
Yeah,
years.
yeah. No, I think that is it's a very good statistic of, I've seen that before in like all cases. Purchasing a new EV versus a new ICE vehicle, the EV is more environmentally friendly in all jurisdictions. It's lower costs, lower emissions, everything. But now it's replacing any ICE vehicle and mining the batteries and constructing it and shipping it overseas. That it's net positive. That's pretty important.
So coal-heavy grids reduce the benefits significantly. Renewable powered charging strengthens the case, reinforcing the critical link between EV adoption and grid decarbonization. I remember, somebody telling me it's like, charge a Tesla, you need like 100 pounds of coal. And in reality, a coal is, or 1 pound of coal is a kilowatt.
As a kilowatt,
roughly.
yeah.
Yep. And so there's some truth to that. I mean, if you charged it entirely from coal,
go get your bag of Kingsford charcoal and measure that out. Get a couple of them.
Yeah, I thought it was like, well, there's some accuracy to that, but have you ever looked at what it takes to make a gallon of gas? Yeah, I mean, it's
that's nuts.
Yeah, I mean, it's a much worse scenario going the other way. Yeah, it's like it'd be the equivalent of 5 pounds of coal to make that pound of gas
to refine it, and then you're burning. Yeah,
and then burning
ship it and transport it, and
then how energy inefficient an internal combustion engine is.
It's good. Thermodynamics are always fun. Earth's a big closed system.
Yes. Let's see here. All right, my last article I wanted to cover was Tesla summer updates. So they brought major navigation improvements, new startup animations, customizable colors for Model 3s and Ys, and karaoke scoring feature. Interesting. They expanded Grok AI capabilities. Now we're kind of waiting to see when they were going to do this, allowing users to adjust vehicle settings, climate, and destinations by voice using Grok. So it's about time, deepening the XAI integration across the Tesla fleet. Nevada issued Tesla a 10-vehicle robotaxi permit. The company says it won't meaningfully scale its robotaxi fleet anywhere until FSD 15 version 15 ships, expected late this year or early next year.
Vegas, probably.
Yeah, I would assume so. I mean, it wouldn't be Carson City, though.
Reno.
Yeah, Reno, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it wouldn't be dangerous. I mean, pedestrians die in Vegas all the time. You know what the 3 worst cities are to be for your danger being a fatality as a pedestrian are? It's
New Orleans.
It's Vegas, Orlando, and Miami.
Okay.
I don't know why Orlando and Miami, other than the fact that maybe it's because of all of the foreigners driving around.
Yeah, or maybe it's just more people walking or outside all the
Yeah.
time. Although you think like Los Angeles, where everybody drives and everybody's outside, like that'd be a problem. But I don't.
Yeah, just kind of funny. But Vegas, but see, Vegas, I can kind of see. You got a lot of drunk people.
Drunk people, right?
Drunk people, and you got people driving up on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Anyways, all right. Well, that's all I got for the show today, Mike. Folks, thanks for watching. I'll be back on Tuesday with Bill, and not sure about next Friday. Okay. So, anyways, everybody have a great weekend, and